Stop what you're doing for just a moment. Close your eyes. Take one deep breath, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Now ask yourself this question. What if the divine state you've been searching for in meditation retreats, sacred ceremonies, and spiritual practices has been hiding in the one thing you do 20,000 times a day without thinking about it? What if your breath isn't just keeping you alive? What if it's the literal gateway to accessing higher dimensions of consciousness? Open your eyes, because what I'm about to share with you in the next hour could fundamentally change how you understand the relationship between your physical body, your consciousness, and what mystics have called the God state for thousands of years. This isn't metaphor. This isn't spiritual bypassing. This is measurable, provable science that's been hiding in plain sight, literally in the space between your inhale and your exhale. I know you've tried so many things already. You've done the breathwork classes. You've practiced pranayama. You've tried Wim Hof breathing, box breathing, 4-7-8 breathing. Maybe you've even gone to holotropic breathwork sessions or worked with a breath coach. And some of it helped, didn't it? You felt calmer, more present, maybe even had a few transcendent moments. But here's what probably happened. Those states didn't last. The moment you went back to your regular breathing patterns, the shallow chest breathing, the held breath when you're stressed, the unconscious patterns you've been running since childhood, you went right back to your baseline state of consciousness. And then you blamed yourself. I'm not doing it right. I'm not spiritual enough. I need to try harder. Let me tell you something right now. You're not broken. You're not doing it wrong. You're trying to access higher states of consciousness while your autonomic nervous system is running software that was installed when you were in survival mode. You're trying to open a quantum doorway with a key that's been bent by years of stress, trauma, and unconscious breathing patterns. It's like trying to run a high-performance spiritual operating system on hardware that's still stuck in fight or flight mode. What makes this approach different is that we're going to bridge 3 dimensions of understanding that are rarely brought together. Pilar 1, the science of consciousness. The measurable, provable mechanics of how breath directly alters your brainwave states, activates your vagus nerve, and creates what neuroscientists call transient hypofrontality, the temporary deactivation of your ego center that allows you to access non-ordinary states of consciousness. This isn't mysticism. This is happening in your prefrontal cortex, your amygdala, and your pineal gland right now. Pilar 2, energy self-care as medicine. Your breath doesn't just move oxygen, it moves energy. Ancient yogis called it prana. Chinese medicine calls it chai. Modern biofield scientists can now measure it as electromagnetic frequencies. When you breathe consciously, you're not just oxygenating your cells, you're clearing energetic blockages, activating dormant energy centers, and literally changing the electromagnetic signature of your biofield. Pilar 3, natural magic. The rhythm of your breath connects you to the rhythm of the cosmos. Your inhale synchronizes with the expansion of the universe. Your exhale synchronizes with its contraction. When you learn to breathe in harmony with natural cycles, circadian rhythms, lunar phases, even the Schumann resonance of Earth's electromagnetic field, you tap into forces that mystics have been working with for millennia. When you bring these 3 together, something extraordinary happens. You don't just calm your nervous system. You don't just oxygenate your blood. You literally shift your consciousness into a state that religious traditions have called union with the divine, enlightenment, Christ consciousness, Buddha nature, the God state. Before we go deeper, I need to warn you, this content is activational. As you watch this video and begin to breathe more consciously, you may experience physical sensations, tingling in your hands or feet, warmth in your chest, pressure in your third eye area. You might feel emotional. You might feel a sudden urge to change something in your life. You might even feel resistance or skepticism rising up. All of that is your system recognizing truth. That's your higher self saying, yes, finally, this is what I've been waiting for. Trust what you feel in your body more than what you think in your mind. Your body knows the way home. Your breath is the map. Let's begin the journey from breath to bliss, from pattern to possibility, from human to divine. For the past decade, I've been diving deep into the intersection between respiratory science, neuroscience, and what spiritual traditions call breath as spirit. Not as a mystic disconnected from reality, but as someone searching for truth, whether that truth is found in university laboratories studying CO2 tolerance and HRV, or in the caves of Himalayan yogis who've been mastering breath for 5,000 years. And here's what I've discovered. They're teaching the same thing. When a neuroscientist at Stanford studies breathwork's effect on the amygdala, and when a tantric master describes prana moving through the nadis, they're describing the same phenomenon from different languages. Because here's the revolutionary realization that changes everything. Consciousness isn't produced by your breath. Your breath is consciousness made physical. Every inhale is you drawing in universal life force. Every exhale is you releasing what no longer serves you. And in the pause between the two, in that sacred space called kumbhaka, there exists a doorway to dimensions beyond the physical. This isn't poetry. This is physics. This is anatomy. This is measurable, replicable, and available to you right now. Today, you're going to receive the complete map. Part 1. The science of sacred breath. How respiratory patterns directly alter brainwave states, and why the ancient yogis were actually neuroscientists. Part 2. The autonomic nervous system decoded. Understanding your two operating systems, sympathetic versus parasympathetic, and why most people are stuck in chronic hyperventilation without knowing it. Part 3. The three locks that activate divine consciousness. Ancient bandha techniques, explained through modern anatomy and energy medicine. Part 4. Breathwork protocols for awakening. Specific practices to activate your vagus nerve, decalcify your pineal gland, and enter non-ordinary states of consciousness. Part 5. The energetics of breath. How prana moves through your nadis. Why most people's ida and pingala are imbalanced, and the secret of sushumna activation. Part 6. Living in the God state. How to integrate conscious breathing into your daily life so you're not just visiting higher consciousness, you're inhabiting it. This isn't theory. By the end of this video, you'll have practical protocols you can use today to shift your state, clear your energy, and access dimensions of consciousness most people don't even know exist. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to learn will challenge everything you thought you knew about breathing, consciousness, and what's actually possible for a human being. Let's begin. 1968. A small laboratory in Menninger, Kansas. Dr. Elmer Green, a physicist turned consciousness researcher, is about to document something that would shake the foundations of Western medicine. He's working with Swami Rama, a yogi from the Himalayas, who claims he can consciously control autonomic functions that Western science insists are involuntary. Heart rate, blood pressure, body temperature, and most remarkably, his brainwave states. The scientists are skeptical. The autonomic nervous system is called autonomic for a reason. It operates automatically, beyond conscious control. You can't just decide to lower your heart rate or change your brainwave patterns, or can you? Swami Rama sits down, electrodes attached to his scalp, his chest, his fingertips. The monitoring equipment is state-of-the-art for 1968. EEG machines tracking brain activity, thermometers measuring body temperature, devices measuring heart rate variability. The scientists give him a challenge. Show us. What happens next is documented in peer-reviewed journals, recorded on film, and witnessed by multiple PhD researchers. Swami Rama closes his eyes. He begins to breathe in a specific pattern, slow, deep, rhythmic, and within minutes something impossible happens. His heart rate drops from 70 beats per minute to 52. His brain waves shift from beta, normal waking consciousness, to alpha, relaxed awareness, to theta, deep meditation, and finally to delta, normally only seen in deep sleep, while remaining fully conscious and able to communicate. But here's where it gets truly extraordinary. The scientists ask him to demonstrate his control over body temperature. Swami Rama holds his breath in a specific way, what yogic tradition calls kumbhaka, and focuses his attention on his right hand. The thermometers show something that shouldn't be possible. His right hand temperature increases by 10 degrees Fahrenheit, while his left hand simultaneously decreases by 10 degrees. A 20-degree difference between his two hands. The same blood is flowing through both arms. The same nervous system controls both hands. But through breath control alone, he's created two different realities in the same body. Dr. Green and his team are stunned. They repeat the experiment. Same results. They bring in more scientists. Same results. This isn't trickery. This isn't sleight of hand. This is measurable, replicable proof that consciousness, directed through breath, can override what we thought were fixed biological limitations. And here's the question that changes everything. If a trained yogi can use breath to consciously control body temperature, heart rate, and brainwave states, what else is possible? If breath is the bridge between your conscious mind and your autonomic nervous system, what happens when you learn to cross that bridge intentionally? And if mystics have been using breath to access what they call samadhi, or the God state, for thousands of years, what if they weren't being metaphorical? What if they were describing an actual accessible state of consciousness that's available through specific respiratory techniques? That experiment opened a door that Western science is still trying to fully understand, because it revealed something profound. Your breath isn't just a passive biological function. It's an active control panel for your entire nervous system, your energy body, and your state of consciousness. But here's where it gets even more interesting. In 2006, a team of Italian researchers made another discovery that would connect ancient breathwork practices to modern neuroscience in a way that nobody expected. They found a cluster of neurons in your brainstem, just 3,000 cells in a region called the Menninger complex, that don't just control your breathing rhythm. These neurons directly link your respiratory patterns to your emotional states, your stress levels, and your mental clarity. Change your breath, and you literally change which neural networks are active in your brain. Let's dive into exactly how this works, and more importantly, how you can use it. Let's go straight to the scientific point that changes everything. Your nervous system has two operating modes: sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest. And your breath is the only autonomic function you can consciously control that directly switches between these two modes. Citación científica específica. In 2017, researchers at Stanford University, led by Dr. Mark Krasnow, made a breakthrough discovery. They identified what they called the breathing pacemaker, a specific group of neurons in your brainstem that doesn't just regulate breathing, but serves as the master controller linking breath to emotional state, stress response, and even consciousness itself. Here's what they found. When you breathe rapidly and shallowly, the way most people breathe when they're stressed or anxious, these neurons send signals to your locus coeruleus, the brain region that produces noradrenaline and keeps you in a state of alertness and anxiety. But when you slow your breathing down, specifically when you extend your exhale beyond your inhale, these same neurons send different signals that activate your vagus nerve and trigger your parasympathetic nervous system. The numbers are striking. When you breathe 12-20 times per minute, the modern average, your heart rate variability, the space between heartbeats that indicates nervous system flexibility, drops significantly. You're essentially stuck in low-grade chronic stress. But when you breathe 5 to 6 times per minute with a longer exhale than inhale, your HRV increases by up to 40%. Your cortisol levels drop. Your DHEA, the anti-aging vitality hormone, increases. Your brain waves shift from beta to alpha. The Institute of Heart Math measured this with 10,000 plus subjects and found something even more remarkable. When you breathe in this specific rhythm while focusing on your heart center, you create what they call psychophysiological coherence, a state where your heart, brain, and nervous system are all synchronized in the same frequency. This coherent state can be detected up to 3 feet outside your body using squid magnetometers. Your breath literally changes your electromagnetic field. And before you think this is just about relaxation, Understand this. Every mystical tradition that talks about achieving enlightenment, union with the divine, or the God state describes specific breathing practices as the foundation. The yogis weren't being poetic when they said prana, breath, is life force. They were describing the measurable electromagnetic energy that moves through your body with every breath. You're not just breathing air, you're breathing consciousness. And when you learn to breathe correctly, you're literally upgrading your operating system from survival mode to divine mode. Here's what most people don't understand. Your normal, unconscious breathing pattern is keeping you locked in a lower state of consciousness, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you've been trained to breathe backwards. Think of your nervous system like a car with two gears. First gear is sympathetic, your accelerator. It's designed for action, movement, hunting, escaping danger. Your inhale activates this gear. Every time you breathe in, you're subtly activating your fight or flight response. Second gear is parasympathetic, your brake. It's designed for rest, healing, digestion, and higher consciousness. Your exhale activates this gear. Every time you breathe out, you're activating your rest and repair response. Now here's the problem. Most modern humans spend their entire lives with their foot on the accelerator. They take quick, shallow inhales, stress response, and short exhales, never fully releasing. They're constantly in first gear, revving the engine, burning fuel, creating stress hormones. And then they wonder why they can't access peace, why they can't meditate, why the God state feels so far away. If you breathe shallow and fast, you signal danger to your nervous system. Your body produces cortisol. Your consciousness contracts. If you breathe deep and slow with extended exhales, you signal safety. Your body produces oxytocin and endorphins. Your consciousness expands. If you hold your breath unconsciously when stressed, you activate the dive reflex. Your body thinks you're drowning. Panic response. If you hold your breath consciously in the pause after exhale, you create a sacred space. Your mind becomes still. The doorway to higher consciousness opens. And here's the part that's difficult to accept. You've been breathing wrong your entire life. Not because anyone taught you incorrectly, but because your nervous system adapted to stress, trauma, and modern life by creating a breathing pattern designed for survival. Not for thriving, not for spiritual awakening, not for accessing the God state. Your subconscious is running a breathing program that was installed when you were 3 years old and something scared you. And until you consciously reprogram it, you'll keep running that pattern. The good news? Breath is the only autonomic function you can consciously control, which means it's your direct access point to reprogramming everything. So what's the solution? The answer is a practice called coherent breathing, a specific rhythm that synchronizes your heart, brain, and nervous system into a unified field of consciousness. This works because when you breathe at approximately 5 to 6 breaths per minute with equal inhale and exhale, you create resonance frequency. Your heart rate variability synchronizes with your breathing rate and your entire system enters coherence. Here's the exact protocol. Step 1, find your base rhythm, 2 minutes. Sit comfortably with your spine straight, feet flat on the ground. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Breathe naturally and count. How many seconds is your natural inhale? How many seconds is your natural exhale? Don't judge it, just observe. Step 2, the 5-5-0-0, coherent breath, 10 minutes. Inhale through your nose for 5 counts, about 5 seconds. Exhale through your nose for 5 counts, about 5 seconds. No pause between inhale and exhale. Continuous, smooth, wave-like breathing. Focus your attention on your heart center as you breathe. Imagine you're breathing directly through your heart. Why these specific numbers? 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out creates approximately 6 breaths per minute. The resonance frequency, where your cardiovascular system, respiratory system, and autonomic nervous system naturally synchronize. Step 3, adding heart focus, next 3 minutes. Continue the 5-5 breath rhythm. As you breathe, recall a memory of genuine gratitude, love, or compassion. Don't just think it, feel it in your heart. This emotional coherence is what activates the deeper transformation. meditation. Step 4, the integration, final 2 minutes. Slow your breath even more. 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Feel your entire body as one unified field. Notice the stillness between thoughts. This is the doorway to the God state. You're on the threshold. When you do this practice for the first time, your mind will likely resist. This is too simple. This can't work. I'm not feeling anything. That's your ego fighting to maintain control. That's your survival programming saying, if we slow down, we're vulnerable. Push through it. Your body knows the truth that your mind is resisting. If you practice this consistently for 30 days, just 15 minutes every morning, you will notice profound changes. Better sleep, lower anxiety, clearer intuition, and moments of spontaneous bliss that arise for no reason. Now, before you rush off to practice this, there's one crucial element we haven't discussed yet, something that yogis have known for 5,000 years, but Western science is only now beginning to understand. It's called the pause, the sacred space between breaths where time stops and eternity begins. And in that pause lies the secret to activating your pineal gland, opening your third eye, and accessing non-ordinary states of consciousness. Let's go there now. Here's the scientific insight that bridges ancient yoga with modern neuroscience. When you hold your breath, specifically when you hold it after a complete exhale, you create a temporary state of mild hypoxia, low oxygen, and hypercapnia, elevated CO2, that triggers what neuroscientists call transient hypofrontality. Citação científica específica. Em 2012, Dr. Arne Dietrich at the American University of Beirut published groundbreaking research on how breath-hold practices temporarily deactivate your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-referential thinking, time perception, and your sense of separate self. This is the same state that advanced meditators reach after years of practice, but breath retention can induce it in minutes. Here's what happens physiologically. When you hold your breath after exhale, what yogis call bahya kumbhaka, your CO2 levels rise. Your body's chemoreceptors detect this and send signals to your brainstem. Your nervous system initially panics. We need air. But if you stay present and relax through that impulse, something extraordinary occurs. Your prefrontal cortex, your me center, temporarily goes offline. Your default mode network, the neural network that creates your sense of separation, quiets down, and your brain shifts into a state that looks identical to the brain scans of people reporting mystical experiences, ego dissolution, and unity consciousness. Research from Johns Hopkins measured brain activity during breath retention practices. After just 3 minutes of cyclical breathing followed by breath holds, subjects showed 40% decrease in activity in the prefrontal cortex, significant increase in theta brainwaves, 4-8 Hz, the frequency associated with deep meditation and hypnagogic states, activation of the pineal gland, measurable through fMRI, release of endogenous DMT. Yes, your brain produces its own psychedelic compound during extended breath holds. The Wim Hof method, which combines hyperventilation with breath retention, has been studied extensively at Radboud University. Researchers found that practitioners could consciously influence their autonomic nervous system and immune response, something that was thought to be impossible. Subjects practicing the method showed 50% reduction in inflammatory markers, ability to consciously release adrenaline, conscious control over body temperature in extreme cold, access to non-ordinary states of consciousness at will. You understand what this means. The mystical experiences that saints, yogis, and shamans have been describing for millennia aren't metaphorical. They're not woo-woo. They're the result of specific, repeatable practices that alter your brain chemistry, your nervous system, and your consciousness. When the yogis talked about breathless states as the gateway to samadhi, they were describing the actual neurological process of temporarily suspending your ego center by manipulating your CO2 levels and activating different brain regions. The God state isn't somewhere out there in the cosmos. It's locked inside your own nervous system, waiting for the right key. And that key is the pause between your breaths. Here's what few people understand about the breath hold. The discomfort you feel when you hold your breath isn't oxygen deprivation. It's CO2 CO2 accumulation, and your ability to tolerate that discomfort is the gateway to expanded consciousness. Think of your consciousness like a radio that's always tuned to the me station. All day long, you're listening to, what do I need? What am I worried about? How do I look? What do others think of me? What's next on my schedule? This constant self-referential thinking is powered by your prefrontal cortex, your ego center. It's like a radio tower constantly broadcasting the me signal. Now, when you hold your breath after a full exhale, you're essentially cutting power to that radio tower. At first, the tower panics. It sends emergency signals. Breathe! We're dying, emergency! But here's the secret. You're not dying. You have 2 to 3 minutes of oxygen reserves easily, probably more if you're relaxed. That panic signal isn't about survival. It's about your ego sensing that it's about to lose control. If you stay present, stay relaxed, and don't react to the panic, the radio tower powers down, the me station goes quiet. And suddenly, you can hear all the other stations that have been broadcasting the whole time. Universal consciousness, divine intelligence, the field of infinite possibility. The yogis called this breathless state, or kevala kumbhaka. Christians called it peace that passeth understanding. Buddhists call it shunyata, or emptiness. It's the same state, and it's accessed through the same doorway, the space where breath stops and something else begins. If you hold your breath in panic, you reinforce survival programming. Your ego strengthens, consciousness contracts. If you hold your breath in curiosity, you create space for exploration. Your ego softens, consciousness expands. If you fight the urge to breathe, you create internal conflict. You stay in duality. Separation persists. If you relax into the urge to breathe, you transcend resistance. You touch unity. The God state reveals itself. Here's the difficult truth. Your ego will do anything to avoid this state, because in the breathless pause, the ego ceases to exist. And from the ego's perspective, that feels like death. So when you start practicing breath retention, your mind will create every excuse. This is dangerous. I'm not ready. This won't work for me. I need to breathe now. None of that is true. It's just your ego's last defense against its own dissolution. The question is, are you willing to die a little, to let go of who you think you are, to discover who you really are? So what's the practical application? The answer is a practice called pranayama with kumbhaka, specifically a technique that combines rhythmic breathing with conscious breath retention to activate your higher consciousness centers. This works because the combination of increased CO2 tolerance, vagal nerve stimulation, and prefrontal cortex deactivation creates the perfect neurological conditions for transcendent states. Here's the exact protocol for beginners. Step 1, preparation, 2 minutes. Sit in a comfortable position with spine erect. Empty your bladder, important, you'll understand why. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Have water nearby. Step 2, the 4-7-8-2 retention breath, 7 minutes. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Hold your breath, Antara Kumbhaka, for 7 counts. Exhale through your nose for 8 counts. Hold empty, Baya Kumbhaka, for 2 counts. Repeat this cycle 10 times. The numbers matter. The extended hold after inhale, 7 counts, builds CO2 tolerance. The extended exhale, 8 counts, activates your parasympathetic nervous system. The brief hold after exhale, 2 counts, introduces your system to the breathless state gently. Step 3, deep retention for intermediate practitioners. After completing 10 cycles of the 4-7-8-2 breath, take a deep inhale to comfortable capacity, about 80%, not maximum. Hold for as long as comfortable. Aim for 60-90 seconds. When you feel the urge to breathe, observe it without reacting for 5 to 10 more seconds. Exhale slowly and completely. Take 3 recovery breaths. Normal breathing. Repeat 2 to 3 times. Critical guidance. During the breath hold, keep your face relaxed, especially your jaw and forehead. Keep your belly soft. If you feel panic rising, place your hand on your heart and remind yourself, I am safe. This is chosen. The discomfort you feel around 30-40 seconds is not danger. It's CO2 accumulation, signaling your ego to let go. Step 4, integration, 1 minute. Return to natural breathing. Place both hands on your heart. Notice the altered state you're in, the mental clarity, the expanded awareness, the subtle energy moving through your body. This is the threshold of the God state. When you first practice this, you might feel tingling in your hands and feet. That's normal. It's CO2 off-gassing and energy moving. Lightheadedness, normal. Your brain is receiving more oxygenated blood. Emotional releases, spontaneous laughter or tears, also normal. You're releasing stored tension. Fear or resistance around the breath hold, most common. This is ego resistance. All of this is part of the process. Your system is recalibrating. Trust it. If you practice this daily for 21 days, you will experience dramatically increased stress resilience, spontaneous moments of clarity and insight, activation of your intuitive capacities, and occasional glimpses of the God state, moments where your separate self dissolves and you touch something infinite. Now, before you go practice this and think you've learned everything, there's one more element that 90% of people miss. The element that determines whether you're just doing a breathing exercise or whether you're actually activating your dormant energy body. It's called the bandhas, 3 internal locks that the yogis discovered thousands of years ago that channel prana, life force energy, up your spine and activate what they called the kundalini. Western medicine is finally catching up and realizing these aren't just muscular contractions. They're activation points for your vagus nerve, your pelvic floor nervous system, and your cranial sacral pump. Let me show you exactly how to use them. Here's the missing piece that elevates breath from stress management to spiritual technology. The ancient yogis discovered 3 muscular locks called bandhas that, when engaged during breath work, don't just contain energy. They redirect it up your central nervous system in a way that activates dormant areas of your brain. In 2018, researchers at the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences in Bangalore, India, conducted fMRI studies on advanced yoga practitioners performing bandhas during pranayama. What they found was extraordinary. When practitioners engaged all 3 bandhas, mula bandha root lock, uddiyana bandha abdominal lock, and jalandhara bandha throat lock, while holding their breath, brain scans showed activation of the pineal gland, the small pine cone-shaped gland in the center of your brain that produces melatonin, serotonin, and, research suggests, endogenous DMT. Increased blood flow to the prefrontal cortex after the practice, even though it decreased during, suggesting a rebound effect that enhances higher-order thinking and intuition. Stimulation of the vagus nerve at 3 key points, the pelvic plexus, the solar plexus, and the cervical plexus, creating what researchers called a full-spectrum vagal tone activation. And perhaps most remarkably, measurable changes in cerebrospinal fluid pressure and flow, which ancient yogis described as moving prana through Sushumna Nadi, the central energy channel along the spine. The numbers are striking. When you engage mula bandha, pelvic floor contraction, EMG studies show you activate not just your pelvic floor muscles, but also send signals up your pudendal nerve to your sacral plexus, activating what's called the pelvic brain, a cluster of neurons that communicate directly with your enteric nervous system, gut brain, and your central nervous system. When you engage uddiyana bandha, drawing your navel toward your spine while holding breath out, you create negative pressure in your abdominal cavity that stimulates your vagus nerve at the solar plexus and increases venous return to your heart by up to 30%. When you engage jalandhara bandha, tucking your chin and lifting the crown of your head, you compress the carotid sinuses in your neck, which house baroreceptors that directly signal your brain to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. This is why yogis call it the throat lock. It literally locks energy from escaping upward before it reaches the brain. When all 3 bandhas are engaged simultaneously during breath retention, practitioners report spontaneous activation of the third eye, correlating with pineal gland activation on fMRI, sensations of energy moving up the spine, correlating with changes in cerebrospinal fluid dynamics, states of consciousness identical to those reported during meditation, psychedelic experiences, and near-death experiences, what yogis call Kechari Mudra state, a spontaneous absorption into the God state. And before you think this is just advanced yoga that doesn't apply to you, understand this. Every time you lift something heavy, Your body naturally engages these locks to protect your spine and create core stability. Every time you laugh deeply, you're engaging uddiyana bandha. Every time you swallow, you're engaging a form of jalandhara bandha. Your body already knows these positions. The yogis didn't invent them. They discovered them by observing the body's natural intelligence. The difference is, when you engage these locks consciously during breathwork, you're not just stabilizing your spine, you're creating a closed circuit that allows energy to build, intensify, and move upward through your nervous system to activate your higher consciousness centers. You're essentially turning your body into a battery that charges itself. Here's what changes everything. Your body has 3 major energy centers that correspond to 3 distinct nervous system plexuses: your root, sacral plexus, your solar plexus, celiac plexus, and your throat, cervical plexus. When you learn to consciously engage all 3 simultaneously, you create what ancient yogis called the triple lock, a configuration that forces energy upward instead of letting it dissipate. Metaphora, principle. Think of your spine like a fountain. Energy, life force, prana, consciousness itself is constantly flowing through you. But in most people, that energy leaks out at 3 main points. Leak number 1, the base, your root. Like a fountain with cracks in the foundation, energy escapes downward into unconscious patterns, survival fears, sexual distractions. You feel scattered, ungrounded, reactive. Leak number 2, the middle hand, your solar plexus. Like a fountain with holes in the middle section, energy disperses into worries about control, power struggles, digestive issues, emotional turbulence. You feel anxious, overwhelmed, unable to hold your center. Leak number 3, the top, your throat. Like a fountain with a broken spout, energy escapes through unconscious speech, mental chatter, unexpressed truth. You feel disconnected from your voice, your power, your authentic expression. When you engage the bandhas, you're essentially sealing these 3 leaks. You're not trying to force energy upward, you're simply closing the escape routes so that energy naturally rises, like water in a sealed pipe, up your central channel, sushumna nadi, to your crown, where it activates your pineal gland and opens the doorway to the God state. If you practice breathwork without bandhas, energy disperses. You might feel relaxed but not transformed. Consciousness stays at the same level. If you engage bandhas while breathing unconsciously, you create tension without direction. Energy gets stuck, frustration and headaches. If you engage bandhas during breath retention with awareness, energy concentrates and rises, dormant areas activate, consciousness expands. If you combine bandhas plus retention plus visualization, you direct the energy intentionally, specific centers activate, you gain mastery over your internal state. And here's what most people don't realize. The reason you can't maintain higher states of consciousness isn't because you're not spiritual enough or because you're not meditating correctly. It's because you're trying to hold water in a cup full of holes. You have these energetic leaks at your root, your solar plexus, your throat that constantly drain your life force. And until you learn to seal them consciously through the bandhas, you'll keep feeling depleted, scattered, and unable to sustain the states you glimpse during breathwork or meditation. The bandhas aren't advanced techniques for yogis. They're the foundation, the container that allows transformation to actually take hold. So what's the practical protocol? The answer is the triple lock breath, a complete pranayama practice that integrates coherent breathing, breath retention, and all 3 bandhas to create maximum energetic activation and consciousness expansion. This works because you're creating the optimal conditions for what yogis call kundalini awakening, the activation of dormant evolutionary potential that lives at the base of your spine. Here's the complete protocol. Step 1. Learn each bandha separately, 5 minutes total. Mula bandha, root lock. Sit comfortably with spine erect. Take a natural breath. On an exhale, gently contract your pelvic floor muscles, the same muscles you use to stop urination. Don't clench hard. Use about 30% of your maximum contraction. Imagine you're drawing energy up from the base of your spine. Hold for 5 seconds, then release. Repeat 5 times to build awareness. Uddiyana bandha, abdominal lock. Stand with feet hip-width apart, knees slightly bent. Take a full breath in. Exhale completely through your mouth. Hold your breath out. While holding empty, draw your navel back toward your spine and up toward your rib cage. Your abdomen will hollow out. Important, only do this on empty lungs, never while holding breath in. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds, then release and inhale. Repeat 3 times. Jalandhara bandha, throat lock. Sit comfortably with spine erect. Inhale. Fully hold your breath in. Tuck your chin slightly toward your chest while simultaneously lifting the crown of your head toward the ceiling, lengthening the back of your neck. You should feel a gentle pressure at the base of your throat. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds, then release and exhale. Repeat 3 times. Step 2, the triple lock sequence, 10 minutes. Now we integrate all 3. Round 1 to 3, building energy. Inhale deeply for 6 counts through your nose. Hold breath in. While holding, engage all 3 bandhas in sequence. Mula, root. Uddiyana, gently, since lungs are full. Jalandhara, throat. Hold for 10-15 seconds with all 3 engaged. Release the bandhas in reverse order. Jalandhara, Uddiyana, Mula. Exhale slowly for 8 counts. Take 2 normal breaths. Repeat 3 times. Round 4 to 6. Deepening. Inhale for 6 counts. Hold breath in with all 3 bandhas for 20-30 seconds. As you hold, visualize golden light moving up your spine from root to crown. Feel the energy building, concentrating, rising. Release bandhas and exhale. Take 3 recovery breaths. Repeat 3 times. Round 7, full retention. Inhale deeply to comfortable capacity, about 80%. Engage all 3 bandhas. Hold for 60-90 seconds, or as long as comfortable. During the hold, keep your attention on the space between your eyebrows, third eye. Feel the sensation of energy at the crown of your head. Notice any sensations, tingling, pressure, warmth, light behind closed eyes. When you need to breathe, release bandhas slowly. Exhale very slowly through your nose. Take 5 recovery breaths. Step 3, integration and observation, 3 minutes. Sit in stillness. Notice your state. Are your thoughts quieter? Is there a sensation of energy in your body? Do colors seem brighter when you open your eyes? Place your hands in prayer position at your heart. Bow to the intelligence within you that just activated. When you first practice the triple lock breath, several things might happen. Physical sensations, strong tingling or vibration in your hands, feet or spine. This is prana moving through previously blocked channels. It's positive. Pressure or pulsing in your third eye area, pineal gland activation. Spontaneous body movements or kriyas, your nervous system releasing stored tension. Heat rising up your spine, kundalini energy activating. Emotional releases, sudden laughter or tears without obvious cause. Energetic blockages clearing, old memories surfacing, the body releasing stored trauma. Waves of bliss or peace, you're touching the God state. Mental experiences, time distortion, 10 minutes feeling like 2 or like 30. Sudden insights or downloads of information, your intuitive channels opening, sense of expanded awareness or connection to something larger. Ego boundaries dissolving. All of this is normal. All of this is positive. Your system is recalibrating to operate at a higher frequency. If you practice this consistently for 40 days, the traditional period for establishing a new pattern, you will experience permanent increase in baseline energy and vitality, dramatic improvement in stress resilience and emotional regulation, activation of psychic and intuitive capacities you didn't know you had, regular access to states of consciousness that feel sacred, divine, infinite, what yogis call siddhi, mastery over your internal state regardless of external circumstances. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds powerful, but is it safe? And how do I know I'm doing it correctly? Before we close, I need to tell you about the one mistake that 90% of people make when they start practicing advanced breathwork. A mistake that can either block your progress entirely or, in rare cases, create uncomfortable experiences. And more importantly, I'm going to give you the missing piece that ensures your practice is not just powerful, but sustainable, safe, and integrated into your daily life. Let me explain. As I promised earlier, I'm going to reveal the #1 error that prevents 90% of people from applying these breathwork practices correctly, and why even experienced practitioners sometimes plateau or experience uncomfortable side effects. This is crucial, because if you get this wrong, you might practice for months or even years without accessing the God state. Or worse, you might activate energy without having the proper container to hold it. The error is this: practicing with the energy of doing instead of the energy of allowing. Let me explain what I mean. Most people approach breathwork the same way they approach everything else in their lives, with force, with effort, with the mentality of, I need to make this happen. They do the breathing exercises with clenched determination. They force the breath holds longer than their body is ready for. They engage the bandhas with muscular tension instead of energetic awareness. They visualize the energy moving up their spine with mental strain. And here's what happens. When you practice from a place of forcing, you're activating your sympathetic nervous system, your stress response. You're telling your body, this is effort, this is struggle. We're in survival mode, and survival mode is the opposite of the God state. The God state is accessed through surrender, through allowing, through softening into the experience rather than conquering it. Why is this error so common? Because Western culture has trained us that transformation requires effort. No pain, no gain. Work hard, play hard, push through your limits. But breath work, true pranayama, operates by different principles. It's not about how long you can hold your breath. It's about how present you can be during the hold. It's not about how perfectly you engage the bandhas. It's about how sensitively you can feel energy moving through your body. It's not about forcing higher states of consciousness. It's about creating the conditions where higher consciousness naturally arises. When you practice with force, you create internal conflict. Your system gets confused. Are we relaxing or are we fighting? Are we safe or are we in danger? And that confusion blocks the very states you're trying to access. The solution is deceptively simple. Practice from a place of curiosity instead of conquest. Approach each breath with the energy of, I wonder what will happen if, rather than, I need to achieve. When you hold your breath, instead of thinking, I must hold this for 90 seconds, think, I'm curious how long my body wants to hold this today. When you engage the bandhas, instead of clenching with maximum force, engage them with just enough intention to feel energy concentrating. Then soften around that awareness. When you visualize energy moving, don't force it to move. Simply place your attention there and observe what wants to happen naturally. It's a subtle shift, but it makes all the difference between a mechanical breathing exercise and a sacred practice that opens the doorway to the God state. The breath is your lover, not your enemy. Court it with gentle attention, not aggressive force. So let's integrate everything you've learned today. First, you discovered that breath is not just a biological function. It's the control panel for your autonomic nervous system, your consciousness, and your access to higher states. We looked at the research from Stanford showing how specific breathing patterns activate or deactivate different brain centers. We examined the Menninger Institute's work with Swami Rama, proving that humans can consciously control supposedly autonomic functions through breath alone. We explored the studies on breath retention showing measurable pineal gland activation and endogenous DMT release. This isn't mysticism. This is neuroscience. This is measurable, replicable, provable. Second, you learned how breath moves energy, what yogis call prana, what Chinese medicine calls qi, what modern biofield scientists can measure as electromagnetic frequencies. You discovered how the bandhas, mula, uddiyana, and jalandhara aren't just muscular contractions, but energetic seals that redirect life force up your central channel, activating dormant consciousness centers along your spine. You learned that your body has 3 major energy leaks, and that sealing them through conscious practice allows you to build and sustain higher frequencies instead of constantly depleting yourself. Third, you received specific, actionable protocols that you can practice today. The coherent breathing practice, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, to create psychophysiological coherence and synchronize your heart, brain, and nervous system. The 4-7-8-2 retention breath to build CO2 tolerance. Activate your vagus nerve and prepare your system for expanded states. The triple lock breath, combining breath retention with all three bandhas to concentrate energy and activate your higher consciousness centers. These aren't just techniques, these are technologies, precise, time-tested protocols for transformation. Mensagem de integração. When you integrate these three dimensions, the science, the energy, and the practice, you're not just learning breathing exercises. You're becoming a conscious co-creator of your internal state. You're activating evolutionary potential that lies dormant in most humans. You're gaining access to the God state, not as something external you have to seek, but as something internal you learn to activate at will. This is your birthright. This is your natural capacity. This is what you came here to remember. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a spontaneous experience during breathwork, a moment where time stopped, where your sense of separation dissolved, where you touched something infinite? Or if you're just starting this practice, which of the three protocols we covered today are you most excited to try first and why? Leave your experience in the comments below. I read every single comment and I respond personally. And here's the thing. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take the leap into their own practice. This community is built on shared experience. We rise together, so please share your truth below. And if you practice the triple lock breath and have an activation experience, come back and tell us. Document your journey. Your testimony matters. If this content resonated with you, if something inside you recognized the truth of what we've explored today, subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell, because this is just the beginning. Every week, I release new videos diving deep into quantum physics, consciousness science, energy medicine, and the practical protocols for transformation. We explore topics like how to activate your pineal gland and decalcify your third eye, the science of Kundalini awakening, working with lunar cycles for manifestation, trauma release through somatic practices, and the integration of science, energy, and spiritual practice. This channel exists for seekers who refuse to choose between science and spirituality, who understand that the deepest truth lives at the intersection of both. If that's you, you're home. Welcome to the Q state. And if you know someone who's struggling with anxiety, who's searching for deeper meaning, who's ready to move beyond surface-level wellness into genuine transformation, share this video with them. You might be changing someone's life by simply hitting that share button. Because here's what I've learned. The people who find this content aren't finding it randomly. There's a synchronicity at play. If this video appeared in your feed, if you watched it all the way to the end, that's not coincidence. You're ready for this information, and someone in your life is ready to receive it through you. Be the bridge, share the knowledge, lift as you climb. And if you want to go even deeper into the science and practice of consciousness transformation, watch the next video that's going to appear on your screen. The vagus nerve, your body's hidden highway to mystical states, where I break down the exact anatomy of how your 10th cranial nerve connects your gut, your heart, and your brain, and why activating it is the master key to emotional regulation, intuitive capacity, and access to the God state. Or check out the complete Breathwork Mastery playlist in the description, where we explore everything from basic techniques to advanced practices for experienced practitioners. Your transformation doesn't stop here. This is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Keep going. Before we close, I want you to really take this in. You didn't find this video by accident. The fact that you're here right now, having watched this entire teaching, means something. It means you're ready. It means your consciousness is calling you toward expansion. It means your soul is saying yes to evolution. You're not here because YouTube's algorithm is smart. You're here because the universe is smarter. You're here because you're meant to activate this knowledge in your life. Trust that, honor that, act on that. You have within you the power to change your state, and when you change your state, you change your life. You have the technology, these breathing practices, these energetic locks, these consciousness protocols. You have the knowledge, the science, the anatomy, the proven mechanisms, and you have the capacity right now in this body with this breath to access states of consciousness that most people believe are reserved for saints, shamans, and advanced meditators. They're not. They're reserved for anyone willing to practice, anyone willing to show up, anyone willing to breathe consciously. You are not separate from the divine. You are the divine, temporarily forgetting itself in human form, and breath is how you remember. So here's what I want you to do. Close this video, put your phone down, sit comfortably with your spine straight, and take 3 conscious breaths, just 3. Inhale for 5, exhale for 5. Feel your body, feel the life force moving through you. Feel the miracle of being alive, conscious, aware. That feeling, that's the doorway, that's the beginning. The God state isn't something you achieve, it's something you remember one breath at a time. Start today, start now, start with the next breath. Thank you for being here, thank you for your attention, thank you for your willingness to transform. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, breathe deep, stay conscious, and remember, you are not a human being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And the bridge between those two realities, it's hidden in your breath. Breathe well, my friend. Breathe deep, and watch as the God state reveals itself, one breath at a time.